Hey everyone, welcome to Lunchtime Jewelry with Emily from Rodwell Duo. Every day I am learning something new about jewelry that I am buying and selling. I've been binging great YouTubers that are a wealth of information. When I'm making videos, I want to be able to go through and throw out information about each piece from the top of my head like my favorite YouTubers. I've been scouring the internet for glossaries and information about the terms I hear but don't understand or don't know, and got the idea that what I need is a Jewelry 101 video. There are a few of them about jewelry makers and periods of jewelry, but not the individual wording, or terms. So as a result, in my search, I have decided to bring you a series of videos. Jewelry 101, Glossary. Jewelry terms A to Z in video series. So make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you will be notified every time a new video is posted. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like my content and leave me comments, questions, or suggestions of terms to add to the following videos. Let's get started. Here is the next list of words starting with the letter B. Bail. A bail is a triangular finding that it attaches a pendant to a necklace. These are a few of the different types of bails that you may see. Bakelite is a plastic that was often used to create jewelry in the 1920s and the 1930s. Bakelite is a castable, fire-resistant plastic that was invented by Leo Baekeland in 1909. Bakelite jewelry is gorgeous, fun, and highly collectible. The different types of Bakelite are found in bracelets, necklaces, pins or brooches, earrings, lockets, and rings. It was originally used for industrial purposes until jewelry makers found that its lightweight made Bakelite a perfect choice for designing and manufacturing inexpensive bracelets, rings, pins, and other jewelry. Bakelite is a unique type of plastic that is similar to gold and silver, makes jewelry valuable. Bakelite's value comes in a different form, largely because it's vintage. However, there are fraudulent versions of material without value. There are a few tests you can use to tell whether it's vintage Bakelite jewelry or some other form of plastic that may not be as desirable. You can identify Bakelite by using the product called semichrome polish. Semichrome is a metal polish you can buy in household stores or on Amazon. And here's how you can use it to test for Bakelite. When Bakelite is exposed to heat, it can give off a smell similar to formaldehyde. Bakelite came in several colors, including red, green, brown, blue, black, and white. Some of these colors have changed over time as chemicals in the Bakelite react with the air. For example, items that were once white sometimes appear a yellowish brown and blue tone pieces are now green. Some rare bakelite colors were translucent. Clear red bakelite is some of the most desirable colors to collectors. Some different types are bracelets. These came in solid bangle styles as well as linked designs. They're sturdy and wearable even today. Necklaces, which include strings of chunky beads, thick chokers, and molded or carved pendants. And earrings featuring clip backs and were heavy and substantial, found in hoops and geometric shapes. No matter what style or color bakelite jewelry you choose to collect, it's fun to know you're wearing a piece of history. Each item has a story and has been loved by generations before you. Just like with other vintage costume jewelry, this retro appeal is part of what makes bakelite jewelry turn heads. Rarity and desirability are some of the reasons bakelite is so expensive. It's also highly collectible. If you have a piece of bakelite jewelry and are wondering how much it's worth, it's a good idea to compare it to recently sold items in a similar style. A large strand of red bakelite beads can fetch $4,000 or more and are among the most valuable items to collectors, likely because of the cherry amber color is fairly rare and a simple design is very wearable. A multicolored bakelite bracelet valued over $2,700 and is worth so much because of its rarity, vintage charm, and condition. It features several different colors of bakelite in a single piece, and it's a distinctive Art Deco style. Simpler designs that don't feature rare bakelite colors are styles that are not quite as much. For instance, an apple juice colored bakelite beaded necklace with a simple design sold for about $100. So, determining the value of bakelite jewelry, you want to consider design, vintage charm, condition, wearability, and color rarity. Some of the most valuable pieces include those that are carved, painted, or laminated. Multicolored items featuring more than one shade of bakelite are also considered costume jewelry. Vintage charm. Certain motifs, such as bird-shaped pins or beautiful floral, make such a lovely, unique style statement that are in high demand. Polka dot patterns are also a hit with collectors. Condition. Bakelite is sturdy and generally holds up well to time. However, scratches, cracks, chips, and scuffs will negatively affect value. Missing hardware is also a problem, so check for original pin and earring backs and necklace clasps. Wearability. Certain items are easier to wear today than others. For instance, bakelite shoe clips, which went on the front of dress shoes, dress them up, are not as easy for today's collectors to wear. However, a strand of beads or a lovely bracelet works just as well as it did 80 years ago. Color rarity. Some rare bakelite colors are extremely valuable. For example, turquoise bakelite often takes on a greenish hue over time, so actual turquoise colored pieces fetch top dollar. Similarly, translucent colors are often worth the most. Balance wheel. A balance wheel or balance is the timekeeping device used in the mechanical watches and some clocks, analogs to the pendulum in a pendulum clock, and was invented by Huygens. A balance wheel is a small weighted wheel that oscillates back and forth and is connected to the main spring, which is wound up when the watch is worn and releases its energy gradually as the watch runs. This energy powers the balance wheel. The faster the balance wheel oscillates, the faster the watch will run. Then regulated organ of a watch. The regulated organ of a watch, which vibrates on a spiral hairspring whose lengthening or shortening causes that balance wheel to move faster or slower, advancing or retarding the watch. Huygens, the inventor of the pendulum clock, also invented the balance wheel in 1675. In the same year, the English clockmaker Thomas Tompion also invented his own balance wheel based on an idea from his friend Robert Hooke. Band. A ring of uniform width which may or may not be set with gemstones. This is the usually metal cylinder that goes around the finger, meaning a ring. A band is a circular ring that usually maintains an even width all the way around, but can be tapered. Bands can be plain, engraved, enameled, and gem set. When a band has diamonds set all the way around it, it's referred to as an eternity band. Bands often serve as wedding rings, either alone or together with an engagement ring, and are worn by both men and women. Bands are made from gold, platinum, and silver, and in case of contemporary rings, other less traditional metals such as titanium and steel. A bandeau. A bandeau is a narrow band worn low around the forehead, which encircles the head and is worn as a decorative head ornament. A bandeau is an ornamental headband or type of tiara. They were particularly popular during the Middle Ages in Italy and in Europe, circa 1825 to 1835. Bandeaux in the Georgian era were often composed of strands of gems or pearls that were neatly passed across the forehead and fastened into a coiffure in the back. Early fortification of the jewels with ribbon soon gave way to the sturdier structures rendered in metal or more tiara-like. During the Art Deco period, they enjoyed a return to the spotlight and bounced intermittently in and out of vogue on into the 21st century. The tradition of wearing bandeaus spans centuries and cultures, and the items have been made with a variety of materials over the years. The tradition of wearing headbands began around 1475 BC when both Greeks and Romans would adorn their heads with wreaths on special occasions that were made of silver and gold and contained precious jewels. Jeweled bandeaus regained popularity in the early 20th century, even at a time where many headbands were made of lace or other intricate fabrics. Today, jeweled bandeaus remain a symbol of social status and elegance, and many British royals choosing to wear these headpieces on special occasions such as weddings and official royal events. Bangles are traditionally rigid bracelets. They originate from the Indian subcontinent where they were typically made from hard materials including metals like gold or silver, wood, plastic, and glass. Archaeologists have found bangles in the Indian subcontinent made of a variety of natural materials including seashell, copper, bronze, gold, agate, and chalcedony. Both traditionally and presently in modern times, Indian women adorn their wrists with bangles from a young age. It is also very popular for Indian brides to wear several bangles at their wedding celebrations. Today, bangles have become popular accessories in the Western world as well, with many women choosing these bracelets for both everyday wear and for special occasions. There are two types of bangle bracelets: the solid cylinder type that is slipped over the hand and onto the wrist, and the cylindrical spring opening and closing type that is open usually via a clasp placed around the wrist and then closed, like clamper bracelets or by magnet. Bar brooch. A bar brooch is an elongated horizontal brooch. Bar closure is a hinged bar which fits into a catch and is secured in the catch with a pin. Victorian bar brooches were designed as a simple bar with a central motif or a plaque, popular during the Edwardian period. These brooches were often a line of calibre cut colored stones and or diamonds and pearls in milligrain settings. Art Deco bar brooches followed the Edwardian style with a more geometric design. Baroque period jewelry, a general term for bold, ornate, heavy-looking ornamentation. Popular bold jewelry pieces worn during this era in time included large necklaces, earrings, rings, bracelets, and tiaras. This jewelry style is marked by pieces that are bold, ornate, and heavy-looking. The word Baroque refers to the time period between 1600 and 1775. During these times, jewelers moved away from creating jewelry pieces fashioned with color enamels and began creating more unique masterpieces using such materials as pearls and boldly colored gemstones. As explorers were coming back from far off lands and returning with flowers from these new destinations, Baroque jewelers were influenced by their findings. The name is derived from a Portuguese jeweler's term "barroco", meaning irregularly formed pearl. The Baroque can be distinguished from the Renaissance by many characteristics, but the main elements are arguably its strive for realism, drama, and a strong suggestion of movement. Many Baroque jewelry pieces feature exotic gold and silver flowers that capture the hearts and imaginations of the Europeans, who proudly adorn themselves with these creations. Baroque pearls, off-shaped, irregular, curved, and each one unique, The beauty of Baroque pearls lies in their refusal to conform. Most cultured freshwater pearls are Baroque because they are mantle tissue nucleated instead of bead nucleated. You may often see this word referring to the pearl's shape. Baroque pearls are irregularly shaped pearls. Baroque pearls can be natural or artificial. The word originates from the Portuguese and is usually used to describe pearls with an irregular shape. However, pearls don't have exclusive rights on the word. It's also used in music to describe pieces that are elaborate. Barrette. A barrette is a hair ornament that resembles a brooch and is clasped into the hair strictly for decoration or to secure hair in place. Instead of a pin mechanism on the reverse, a barrette has a bar across the center that hooks into a fastener at the opposite side. Hair is gripped by the resultant tension between the bar and the front section. Barrettes are sometimes referred to as hair slides or hair clips. A bas relief is a French word for low relief, derived from the Italian basso rilievo, or low relief is a sculpture which is not freestanding or in the round, but has a background from which the main elements of the composition project. A two-dimensional orb which has been encrusted all over with white crystals and a tonal trace chain. One of the most innovative subtypes of relief is the use of the bas relief. For perspective originating during the Florentine Renaissance between the 14th and 16th centuries in Italy, Lorenzo Ghiberti's Door to Paradise on the baptistry in Florence is a prime example of this kind of relief work. What are the four categories of bas relief? Relief is a method in which sculpted pieces are bonded to a solid background of the same material. The main four types of relief sculptures are low, medium, high, and sunken. The term is French and is derived from the Italian basso rilievo, low relief. A bas relief is created in one of two ways: by carving away material such as wood, stone, ivory, and so on, by applying material such as strips of clay to the top of otherwise a smooth surface. Base metal. The term base metal is one used in the jewelry industry for those metals that oxidize easily and tend to be mainly used for costume jewelry. These materials do not contain one of the noble or precious metals and are therefore significantly cheaper. Any metal other than gold, silver, or platinum, which are all considered precious metals, examples would include uh, brass, bronze, copper, and nickel. A base metal is a common and inexpensive metal as opposed to the precious metals such as gold or silver. In the numismatics, coins often derived their value from precious metal content. However, base metals have also been used in coins in the past and today. In mining and economics, the term base metal refers to industrial non-ferrous metals, including precious metals. What is what is the difference between base metals and steel? The main difference between metal and steel is that metals are naturally occurring elements that are present in the Earth's crust, while steel is an alloy made from metal. Does base metal jewelry tarnish? Base metals tarnish because they are chemically attacked from the atmosphere and any liquid that may come into contact with your jewelry. The main culprit here is copper. This reacts readily with sulfur from the atmosphere to form sulfides. These are the dark in color and your jewelry starts to look dull with time. Copper is perhaps the best known base metal, and it's not hard to see why. Bastai, a technique of applying glass enamel to a metal surface. The enameling technique, which translates to shallow cut, allows jewelers to create pieces in which the colored enamel position of the jewelry item is at a low relief pattern in metal, typically gold or silver. The process begins with the jeweler tracing the enamel design on the gold or silver piece of jewelry. Then, the jeweler uses a tool such as a tracer to remove the inner area of the metal, creating a recessed area in which to place the enamel. Typically, different depths in the metal are chiseled out so that the enamel placed in it will shine through with varying degrees of light and color. With bastai, the height of the enamel is at a lower point than the height of metal that surrounds it. Additionally, enamel is added to the bastai jewelry's metal position. This allows for a unique, stunning light show and creates beautiful artistic effect, originating in Italy during medieval ages. The process of bastai again became popular in the 17th century of Europe. Baton. A baton is a stone that is cut into a long, thin, and rectangular shape. It is also described a modern cut for a small trapped stone set next to the rectangular shaped stones with parallel facets. A baton is the other name of a baguette. It is similar to a baguette cut in diamonds or other gemstones, but longer to it. Bauble! A decorative but inexpensive piece of jewelry. This fashionable one-piece plastic statement ring would qualify as a bauble. We also see baubles in necklaces, bracelets, and earrings, and they make such a wonderful sound, and they are so much fun in statement pieces. Bayadere. A bayadere is a necklace consisting of a twisted rope of multiple seed pearl strands. A necklace which is composed of several strings of seed pearls that are twisted together in a rope-like manner. The strings may be contrasting in colors. This is a French word, pronounced torsade from the Latin word torque, which means to twist, although a bayadere necklace is also a torsade. Not all torsades are bayaderes, since bayadere is always done with pearls. Bear paw or bear claw. Many believe that bears were able to heal their own wounds. A bear claw might be worn on a necklace to protect a warrior and offer them strength. The claws are also included in medicine pouches to bring the power of healing. Because the bear is such a highly regarded animal with native culture, the bear claw often represents protection and a connection to the animal. It is often worn by those who seek leadership. Bearding. Small feather-like cracks along the girdle of a diamond. Diamond bearding is when a gemologist creates man-made inclusions in a diamond by girdling or rounding the elliptically shaped diamonds before they are set in their final jewelry setting. By bearding diamonds, gemologists create feather-like chips in a diamond or a scraggly beard, which is where the process gets its name from. Bearding creates a visual effect in which high clarity stones that make it appear rough instead of smooth. So much so that the bearding of high clarity diamonds measuring 1.5 carats or more impact their pricing. Bearding is much less likely to impact the look and cost of lower clarity diamonds of a rating of Si or less. Bearding or girdle fringes are the outermost portion of the stone, called the girdle, can develop small cracks that resemble whiskers during the polishing process. The bearding can sometimes be removed, if not dramatic, with slight repolishing and if the weight allows. Hair-like lines may occur when the stone girdle during the cutting process. They may also be called dig marks. Bearding doesn't usually devalue a stone or degrade clarity unless it's extensive. Recutting is necessary to improve luster. Bell cap, also known as bead caps, is a bell cap. A bell cap is a jewelry finding that is used to convert a whole less bead or stone with into a pendant. A bell cap is glued onto the bead or stone and had a loop for attaching to the piece of jewelry. Bell caps are used to accentuate a frame bead while ensuring a decorative professional finish. A finding to which solid beads or stones are glued to make pendants. Similar to bails, bell caps are glued onto the ends of each crystal. These are ideal for stones you don't want to drill, such as amber. These versatile findings can be plain in design or ornamental with surface decoration, fluting, as well as cutouts and filigree work, allowing more of the bead surface to show through. As a general rule, more decorative bell caps should be paired with plainer beads. They can be used to cap both ends of the bead or just one, with the latter creating an acorn effect. On a functional level, they can be used to reduce down larger bead holes to prevent head pins slipping through or the covered damage or to cover damage around the bead hole. There are no rules when it comes to matching bell caps to beads by size, being a case of experimentation to achieve the desired look for any particular design. epoche, 1880 to 1914, French for beautiful period, a style of jewelry popular during the Edwardian period or the reign in England of Edward VII during the first decade of the 20th century. Bella Epoche, I know I'm butchering that, jewelry is characterized by delicacy and elegance, use of filigree work, bow motifs, pearls and diamonds. It was the Edwardian period, the time of the reign of Edward VII of England, 1901 to 1910. The beautiful era was a time of increasing wealth and flourishing art. When cinema boomed, movie stars, instead of European royalty, became trendsetters. Bella Epoque jewelry or epoche jewelry was inspired by motifs popular during the rule of Louis the what is that? 16th. Bows, swags, wreaths or garland of fabric, and wreaths were favored. This jewelry was fashioned with pale colored gemstones like pearls and diamonds into lavish necklaces. Stomachers, the triangle shaped panel used to fill the front of a woman's dress, or tiaras and earrings. Platinum replaced heavier silver mountings, allowing gemstones to appear in delicate yet strong mountings that provided optimum light, airiness, and natural beauty. Jewels of this era remain collectible as they are rare and limited in number. Aside from natural pearls and diamonds, fancy colored diamonds in yellow, pink, and blue, while aquamarine, topaz, demantoid, garnet, and rubies served as accent gemstones. Bib necklace. A bib necklace, also known as a collarette, is a short necklace with flowing ornaments in the front. A bib necklace is one composed of several strands of beads or gemstones that hang in a bib shape. Bib necklaces can also be fringe or collar style necklaces, evoking a bib-like shape. A short necklace, usually with pendants or other ornaments hanging from the front, also known as a collarette. Birthstone. In the 1930s, the British and the US jewelry industries assigned stones to the months of the year as follows: January, garnet; February, amethyst; March, aquamarine; April, diamond; May, emerald; June, pearl or moonstone; July, ruby; August, peridot; September, sapphire; October, opal; November, topaz or citrine; December, turquoise, tanzanite, or blue zircon. The tradition of birthstones or birthday stones is sorry, is a Polish 18th century popularization. The exact origin of this tradition is uncertain. Many people ascribe it to biblical writings as the breastpiece of Aaron, the breastpiece of decision, and the foundations of the New Jerusalem. In 1937, the National Association of Goldsmiths of Great Britain created a list of birth and zodiac stones that is now adopted worldwide. June is also alexandrite or moonstone. August is also spinel. October is also tourmaline. And as mentioned before, December is also zycron or turquoise. Just as a disclaimer, this section may be offensive to some people. Blackmore, a brooch or pendant designed as the bust of an African man or woman. The head is typically carved of black chalcedony, hard stone, in 3 dimensions. The bust of and headdresses are often usually completed in gold and are often gem set. Blackmores date from the mid-19th to the mid-20th centuries. Such pieces were made as a cameo or as an ornament in the round or to decorate a pendant, brooch, hat pin, or the shank of a seal. They were and still are a specialty of Venice, but such cameos of male or female heads were also produced elsewhere in the 16th to 18th centuries. Blackmores have a long history in decorative art, stretching all the way back from the 17th century Italy, and the famous sculptor Andrea Brustolone, 1662 to 1732. They are often recognized for depictions of slaves and the ornamental pieces that they inspired. They became popular in aristocratic homes, including the court of Louis the XIV at a time when Europeans were engaged in the slave trade. The notion of the exotic black body became a symbol with Baroque ostentation. And just as a note, Blackmore art is controversial and is often considered racist. Bleaching. Bleaching is a common but generally undisclosed treatment used to even out the color in white cultured pearls. After the harvest, pearls are soaked and heated in a mild pearl cleaning solution under bright fluorescent lights. This results in a more uniform white color over the pearls. It is also common practice to color enhance or dye pearls following the bleaching process to add a subtle overtone. Dyeing takes place after the pearls are drilled and is sometimes detectable by examining the drill hole under magnification. Polishing and sometimes a coating completes the process. Pearl producers claim that it is the only economical process to create the matched strands of pearls that the market demands. Bleaching is a process in which a gemstone's color is removed using a bleaching agent. Bleaching is the process in which high concentration of caustic acids are used to treat a gem in order to lighten a gemstone that is too dark or remove the color from a pale gem to make it colorful. Blister pearl, an irregular shaped and hollow pearl cut from the shell of an oyster, also called a bouton pearl. Typical pearls are grown inside the tissue of an oyster. Blister pearls, however, grow against the inside of the oyster shell. As a result, blister pearls must be cut out of an oyster. Additionally, rather than being round, they are often hemispherical in shape and have a flat back. Though not shaped like a typical pearl, blister pearls are often beautiful and very popular in pearl jewelry. They come in a wide array of colors, ranging from light pink to bluish hues. Some of them even have a rainbow-like gleam. In rare instances, blister pearls have a beautiful golden swirl. Bodkin. A bodkin is a hairpin worn by Renaissance ladies to keep long hair in a knot at the rear of the head. Eventually, the bodkin evolved into an aigrette. A bodkin is a heavily jeweled Renaissance era hairpin. A hairpin, this is this name originating during the Renaissance when they were made of gold or silver and decorated with gemstones. Bog oak. Wood that was preserved over thousands of years in the bog of Ireland, which was hard enough to be carved and worn as jewelry. Bog oak is a type of wood that has been preserved over thousands of years in an Irish bog. This type of wood can also be found in Scotland and England. Bog oak is hard enough to be carved and worn as jewelry. During the late Victorian era, from 1860 to 1890, bog oak jewelry was a popular jewelry medium to be used in mourning jewelry, which consisted of dark colored pieces worn by women, often while mourning the deaths of their husbands or newborns. Many bog oak mourning jewelry pieces included sentimental details of the person who was being mourned, including initials or date of birth or death and death that were carved into the pieces. Bog oak jewelry also became popular as everyday jewelry during the late Victorian era because of its fashionable dark hues. Oftentimes, bog oak jewelry was accented with gold and was carved with Irish symbols such as the shamrock. A very deep brown rather than black color and an inability to be polished to a high shine and a defined wood grain structure is how you will um, determine if it is bog oak. It's also lightweight and warm to the touch, but it usually has a matte finish. Bonding is a procedure in which a colorless bonding agent like plastic is applied on top and into a porous gemstone to make the stone more durable and give it an enhanced appearance. Often use epoxy resin, um, which works well on stones both large and small. Bridge jewelry. Bridge jewelry is jewelry that bridges the gap between fine or precious jewelry and costume jewelry. An example of bridge jewelry is sterling silver pieces. Bridge jewelry is manufactured to the same quality and standards as fine jewelry, only it's made with less expensive materials. This level of jewelry bridges the gap between um, costume and fashion jewelry and the fine jewelry world, offering heirloom worthy style without such a high material cost. Included are semi precious stones and dazzling sterling silver, platinum, rose gold, and gold vermeil finishes. Brooch. Decorative jewelry item designed to be attached to garments, often to fasten them together. It usually is made of metal, often silver or gold, or some other material. Brooches are frequently decorated with enamel or with gemstones and may be solely for ornament or serve a practical function as a clothes fastener. The early known brooches are from the Bronze Age, as fashions in brooches changed rather quickly. They are important chronological indicators. In archaeology, ancient European brooches are usually referred to by the Latin term fibula. Brooches were known as fibula, plural is fibulae, yeah, prior to the Middle Ages. The earliest manufacture of brooches in Great Britain was during the period from 600 to 150 BC. The most common brooch forms during this period were the bow, the plate, and in smaller quantities. The pennular brooch uh, was common in Iron Age brooches found in Britain and are typically cast in one piece, with the majority made in copper, alloy, or iron. Prior to the late Iron Age, gold and silver were rarely used to make jewelry. Brooches found during the late medieval era, 1300 to 1500 AD, were worn by both men and women. Brooch shapes were generally star-shaped, pentagonal, lobed, wheel, heart-shaped, and rings. Rings were smaller than other brooches and often used to fasten clothing at the neck. Brooch decoration usually consisted of simple inscription or gems applied to a gold or silver base. Um, Inscriptions of love, friendship, and faith were typically feature of rings, brooches of this period. The heart-shaped brooch was a very popular gift between lovers or friends. The Art Deco period lasted from 1920 to the 1939. Early 20th century art movement. Early inspirations for this new art style, along with the Eastern, African, and Latin American art. Art Deco was named after a decorative and industrial arts exhibition held in Paris in 1925. Common brooch decorations of this period are geometric shapes, abstract designs, designs from Cubism, Fauvism, and art motifs from Egypt and India. Black onyx, coral, quartz, lapis lazuli, and carnelian were used with classic stones such as diamonds, rubies, emeralds, and sapphires. The Renaissance period in jewelry, 1300 to 1600, was a time of wealth and opulence. Elaborate brooches covered in gemstones or pearls were in fashion, especially with the upper class. Gemstones commonly used for brooches were emeralds, diamonds, rubies, amethyst, and topaz. Brooches with religious motifs and enameled miniature portraits were popular during this time period. Gems were often selected for their protective properties as well as their vibrant colors. During the 15th century, new cutting techniques inspired new gemstone shapes. The Georgian jewelry era, 1710 to 1830, was named after the four King Georges of England. In the early 1700s, ornate brooches with complex designs were fashionable. By the mid to late 1700s, simpler forms and designs were more common, with simpler themes of nature, bows, miniature portraits, and animals. Georgian jewelry was typically handmade in gold or silver. Diamonds and pearls continued to be fashionable during this period. The period was named for Queen Victoria of the United Kingdom, who reigned from 1837 to 1901. Cameos, brooches, locket brooches, flowers, nature, animal, and hearts were popular jewelry styles in the early Victorian era. When Victoria's husband, Prince Albert, died in 1861, jewelry fashion changed to reflect the Queen in mourning. Styles turned heavier and more somber, using materials like black enamel, jet, and black onyx. Mourning brooches were commonly worn until the end of the Victorian period. It was fashionable during this period to incorporate hair and portraiture into a brooch. The practice began as an expression of mourning, then expanded to keepsakes of loved ones who were living. Human hair was encased within the brooch or braided and woven into a band to which clasps were affixed. The Edwardian era of jewelry from 1901 to 1910 began after the death of Queen Victoria. This period marked the first time platinum was used in jewelry. Because of platinum's strength, new jewelry pieces were created with delicate filigree to look like lace and silk. The main gemstones used in brooches were diamonds, typically with platinum or white, gold, and colored gemstones or pearls. Platinum and diamond brooches were a common brooch style. Small brooches continued to be fashionable. Popular brooch forms were bows, ribbons, swags, and garlands, all in the delicate new style. Bugle bead, a tubular glass bead made in the same production manner as seed beads. However, they are cut glass rods that have been tumbled or smooth edges. Bugle beads are versatile um, to any beadwork. They can add length to fringe, texture to bead embroidery, and can even be a great substitute for genuine heishi beads. Bugles are made just like any other round seed bead, where the glass is pulled through a shaping tube, but bugle beads are chopped at a slower interval, resulting in the longer length. Standard size of bugle beads start at size 2, which is 4 millimeters. The shape of bugle beads is by nature more organic, and imperfections can be tolerated more than any other seed bead shape, where uniformity is more important. In 1984, the shower necklace was born and became popular using a hank of bugle seed beads, a pair of end caps, and a fancy clasp um, to create a very trendy beaded necklace. These same necklaces, originally designed by one of Marian Haskell's team of artists, can still be seen at chain boutiques like Claire's in most shopping malls. Sorry, I lost my place. Bugle beads can be smooth and cylindrical, smooth and squared, with four corner ridges running lengthwise, squared and twisted, with four ridges that spiral around each bead, hex cut with six long facets, or twisted hex cuts. Bugles are also available with either round or square holes. Bula, an amulet worn like a locket, was given to male children in ancient Rome 9 days after birth. Rather similar objects are rare finds from late Bronze Age Ireland. Roman bulla or bullae are enigmatic objects of lead, sometimes covered in gold foil. If the family could afford it, a bulla was worn around the neck as a locket to protect against evil spirits and forces. Bulla were made of differing substances depending upon the wealth of the family. Before the age of manhood, Roman boys wore a bulla, a neck chain, and a round pouch containing protective amulets, usually phallic symbols. And the bulla of an upper class boy would be made of gold. Other materials included leather and cloth. A Roman girl did not wear a bulla per se, but another kind of amulet called a lunula until the eve of her marriage, when it was removed along with her childhood toys and other things. She would then start wearing child's clothes and start wearing she would stop wearing child's clothes and start wearing women's Roman dress. A small number of bulla have been found in Ireland. They are called bullae based on their resemblance to the Roman form. The Irish bullae so far found were made of base metal, sometimes clay, covered with a folded over piece of gold foil. The Irish bullae date to the late Bronze Age, about 1150 to 750 BCE. They were presumably worn suspended round the neck with a cord running through the hole below the flat top. The body of the bulle or bulla has roughly vertical sides before making a semicircle or inverted pointed arch at the bottom. The gold is incised with geometrical decoration. Whether they were purely for adornment or had amuletic or other function is unclear. Despite the small weight of the gold used, they would have been available only for elite groups. Butterfly wing jewelry. Jewelry made from real butterfly wings where a picture is depicted and then encased in plastic or glass. Butterfly wing jewelry has a long history and was popular from late 1800s up to the 1960s, and is gaining popularity again with sustainable butterfly farms located around the world. Butterflies are deep and powerful symbols of life in most cultures. Butterfly wings jewelry is made from real butterfly wings. A picture is usually painted on the wings, which is then enclosed in glass or plastic and then mounted in metal to make a pin, pendant, or piece of jewelry. It's also called morpho butterfly jewelry. Bypass bracelet or ring. A ring or a bracelet that has a bypass design typically has the ends wrapping around and overlapping, passing by, in the front of the piece. The shank curves up one side and down on the other to cup a central stone, like a pair of hands that do not actually meet, holding a large object. The bypass bracelet do not slide straight over the hand. Instead, they hold the bracelet opening parallel with the length of your arm or wrist, sliding your wrist in and then turning the bracelet onto your arm. Modern wrap bracelets have tribal origins and involve out of the knee to protect one's wrist in battle and were often made from long strands of leather wrapped several times around the wrist to create a protective area covering the wrist and the lower forearm. Bypass engagement rings were popularized in the Victorian era. These bypass rings can hold any different diamond shapes and colorful gemstones to create unique pieces. A bypass ring design features a single metal band with two ends, often together holding a diamond or gemstone. This design is symbolic of two individuals coming together as one while simultaneously retaining their individuality. That is beautiful. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and click on the notification bell to receive a notification the next time I upload a new video. Please email me at rodvoldduo@gmail.com if you would like me to include any particular terms for the next video that starts with a C, and I will be sure to add it to the next installment. My jewelry glossary videos are uploaded once a month and at the beginning of the month. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think of this series, and let me know if you would like to see more or any other types of educational topics. Some topics I plan to cover in the future are topics like time period styles like Art Deco, Art Nouveau, and etc. Chain types, jewelry makers like Coro, Napier, Marvella, Trifari, and etc. Gemstones, maker's marks, and that's all I can think of at the moment. But like I mentioned before, if you have any ideas of any type of um, information that you would like to see added to the series, let me know either by commenting below or emailing me at rodvoldduo@gmail.com. Well, that is all for now. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next one.